Hi, it's Wayne from howtofish.com.au. I'm fishing in Warrnambool today on the Hopkins River. Beautiful tidal river, very close to the mouth. Lots of bream, lots of other fish in here, they tell me. Okay, we're going to see today. Conditions are pretty. My target was a slightly deeper spot about 10 meters out. I was casting there every time to build up the burley to attract the fish. Right from the start, the bites were ferocious, and the first bite actually pulled in my rod holder and my rod. I managed to grab the rod just before it went in and got the fish in. These were good sized bream, and the trouble is you couldn't leave your rod, otherwise you were in real trouble. Most of the fish on the day were a really good size. There was very few small ones, plenty of big ones. I really enjoyed the Hopkins River for its bream, its good sized bream, but they weren't the only fish there. There were also mullet, and even these weren't small, so it was a great day's fishing. The thing that was really important was using burley to attract the fish and the right bait. I was using chicken as bait, and I was using my spicy chicken dip to dip the chicken in to give it that extra attraction. You don't have to cast out far, but what you do need to do is find some spot that would naturally hold food. So I'd found a little bit of a dip in the bottom, probably about 10 meters out, and when I was hitting that with my burley, I was getting the fish. And these fish were great fun, especially when you use light line. I was only using 2.5 kilo line, and this light line makes fighting the fish so much more enjoyable.
What's that?
Bream, little bream.
It's a nice size.
I was using small hooks, and what I was doing was using a pair of pliers to pinch down the barb. This meant the hook would go into the mouth much easier and allow for hookup. It also meant it was so much easier to get the hook out when you return the fish. The bites on the day were absolutely ferocious, and if you weren't watching, your rod would be pulled in. That's what happened here. This little ballet that I'm doing right now is because I thought I was going to have to strip off and wade in to get my rod. There's a rod in the water about a meter out, and I'm using my second rod to pin it to the bottom so it can't be pulled away. So after thinking I'm going to strip off, I then used my rod holder to actually catch the reel of the other rod and lift it up. Thankfully, I got that rod back. I think the fish is still on after all that. It had taken me about 10 minutes of mucking around before I finally got that rod out of the water. And now I had to pull it all back in. There was weed all over the tackle, so it took a little while. And there is a fish on the end of it. So despite almost losing my rod and mucking around for 10 minutes, I still managed to get the fish in. So this was quite an achievement, and I felt quite good that even though I know that I may well have damaged the reel because of the salt water and sand that had gone into it, at least I got something out of it at the end. And there you go. And as it turns out, it wasn't the biggest fish of the day either. It was ferocious the way that it pulled the line and the rod in, but it's not actually even that big a fish. So it just shows you got to be on the lookout. Well, unfortunately, this trip was cut short. I really wanted to do a bit more fishing, but I've got to go to an appointment. So I caught a few fish in here, and it was pretty exciting. A couple of mishaps with stuff going into the water, but it was all good. So look, if you've enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And for any of the fishing gear, the dips I'm using, burley cages, tackle, go to my website, howtofish.com.au.